Whenever Tobirama is brought up, or a member has a Tobirama profile, there's always one insult that's thrown their way, and that's that they're labeled a racist. Of course, no one is blaming members for actually being racist because of their choice of aesthetics. But regardless, I feel it's wrong to call Tobirama a racist. For starters, the correct word to use in this situation is to call him prejudiced, which he is. I can't argue against that. If you look up the definition for the word prejudiced, it almost perfectly describes Tobirama's sentiment towards the Uchiha. I still don't think that should be held entirely against him. There's a lot more to it than that, so let's get started. We really can't get into this topic without bringing up the Uchiha clan's curse of hatred. It's a running theme throughout the series, with only a handful of Uchihas able to overcome it. Notable exceptions to this are Kagami, Shisui, Naori, and Itachi. The Uchiha's curse of hatred can be traced back to the progenitor of the clan, Indra Otsutsuki. When it came time for his father, Hagoromo Otsutsuki, or the Sage of Six Paths, to choose an heir, he overlooked his firstborn son, leaving his legacy to Ashura. Indra, provoked by Black Zetsu, attacked his brother to try and gain what he felt was his birthright. Ultimately, Ashura defeated his brother, and this rivalry was passed down through the generations. Each time their reincarnations met, the same clash of ideals persisted. Madara and Hashirama, much like Indra and Ashura respectively, both shared the same goal. They wanted to bring peace to the shinobi world, but both had different approaches to it. So, in essence, the way the curse of hatred manifests in the Uchiha is a will and conviction to do what they believe is right, though usually it's not. Madara's plan for peace with the infinite Tsukuyomi and the Uchiha's plan for the Ku are prime examples. This is in contrast to the Senju's will of fire, which sees shinobi place the well-being of the village and other shinobi before themselves. This is a founding principle of konoha, with the Senju Hokage fully embracing this ideal. But the curse of hatred isn't something that's entirely different. Another effect along with that indomitable will is the capacity for deep and intense feelings of love. This love, and ultimately the loss of it, allows for chakra to react differently in the brains of the Uchiha, which in turn activates their dojutsu, the Sharingan. So although this curse does cause the near demise of the clan and causes many early deaths, ironically it is also their greatest strength. Tobirama's negative prejudice towards the Uchiha is what he's best known for. This is the view he has when generalizing the Uchiha as a whole, or meeting a Uchiha for the first time. What many fail to realize is that this isn't necessarily blind hatred. He has a history with the Uchiha clan and their curse of hatred. He's dealt with Madara, he's dealt with his clan fighting with the Uchiha through much of his life. Tobirama has lost brothers at the hands of the Uchiha as well. It's easy to see why he has a negative view of them, especially when after they achieved peace by founding the village, Madara still came back to attack them. By contrast, Hashirama was a much more forgiving and compassionate person, and this only makes Tobirama's logical and realistic personality look more harsh by comparison. Tobirama also had to deal with the sentiments of the Uchiha through his tenure as Hokage as well. Before the village was founded, both clans fought for years. Madara didn't accept Hashirama's offer for a truce until he was defeated in battle. At this time, the Uchiha still harbored resentment towards the Senju clan, despite some of them defecting after Madara's repeated refusals to call a truce. Hashirama knew this, which is why he was prepared to offer his own life for the sake of peace, knowing full well that Madara's death would only further incite the Uchiha's will. Tobirama believed Madara's will lived on in his clan, which is why he established the Konoha police force and entrusted it to the Uchihas. He was aware of the sentiments of the Uchiha and felt that giving them the police force to run as the best use of their talents would keep them happy and occupied. Though his plan backfired and it only left the clan feeling marginalized and isolated. This wouldn't be the first time in the history of the Leaf that the actions of the Hokage left the Uchiha in such a state. When Hiruzen moved the Uchihas to the edge of the village after the Nine-Tail attack, resentments grew, which ultimately culminated in the planning of a coup. Granted, the coup never took place due to Itachi's actions, but the majority of the clan was still driven to participate, even though countless innocent lives would be lost. Again, the curse of hatred blinded them to this reality and only left them with the satisfaction that all of the perceived slights against the clan would be rectified if they took over. Tobirama saw this as something they might possibly do, as this was the same drive that possessed Madara in earlier years. Tobirama's troubled history with the Uchiha still didn't entirely dictate his views on them. Sure, he'd enter into any interaction with the preconceived negative view of them due to the curse of hatred, but he knew that it was something they could overcome as well. Kagami wasn't a token Uchiha that he interacted with for the sake of appearances. Tobirama fully believed Kagami had overcome the curse of hatred. When explaining the past to Sasuke when reincarnated a second time, Tobirama states that there were a few Uchiha who could transcend the boundaries of the clan, like Itachi and Kagami, and who put the village first. Tobirama could appreciate that sacrifice of putting others before themselves and held that ideal close to his heart, as he even died fighting so that his team could live. One could argue even Fugaku was capable of this as well, since he kept his Mangekyo Sharingan a secret from everyone. He feared the rest of the clan would ask him to control the Nine Tails in order to take the Hokage position. The actions and thoughts of those Uchiha were most definitely ruled by the curse of hatred. Fugaku knew full well that many innocent people would die in a scenario like that, since that is exactly what happened the last time it was released, the coup. Although something that still put the clan before the village, was the lesser of two evils. Thoughts and actions such as these are what Tobirama valued coming from Uchiha clan members, since it is in stark contrast from what he was used to seeing. All of this being said, Tobirama and everyone else in the Warring States era witnessed unnecessary fighting all through their developmental years and even had to join the fray themselves. Children fighting led to children dying, and Tobirama wanted to end that along with his brothers. Madara chose to continue that with the refusal of the truce Hashirama offered. He and the clan kept fighting, even as some Uchiha defected to the Senjus because they no longer agreed with Madara's continued clash with the Senju. Witnessing the unrelenting and blinding hatred along with losing brothers and fellow members of his clan at the hands of the Uchiha cemented Tobirama's view of them. They might have been redeemed had Madara taken different courses of action, but continuing to attack them and the village after it was established directly went against the peace they sought for years. So in that sense, it's not hard to see why he carries that prejudice against the Uchiha. There you have it. There is my opinion regarding Tobirama and his prejudice against the Uchiha. I don't think there really is an argument against it, since Tobirama stated his stance on that, but I wanted to delve into why I think there's more to it than that. It's not a blind hatred, since that's basically the thing he hates about the Uchiha. My goal is to perhaps bring some understanding to this man's views, because too often are his achievements discounted since he's just a racist. He's not. He carries a prejudice. But I felt there are reasons for it, so one cannot simply blame him for it or call him ignorant for it either. Tobirama was a logical person, and as Hokage took steps he felt was in the best interest of the village. He was a more stern and direct leader than his brother, which could be his undoing, since the resentment he caused ultimately ended up boiling over and leading to an attempted coup. Either way, Tobirama as a character is more complex than he is given credit for, and I can only hope this post has shed some light on this and hopefully can change some people's negative view of him. What do you think of Tobirama and his attitude towards the Uchiha? Do let me know in the comments. For more anime discussions, please subscribe to the channel and hit the like button.